All right, I'll get started today. We just got in from our red zone practice. Roster moves that you have seen or will see. Cassius Marsh, we moved to that active roster. Bruce Irvin signed to their practice squad, and Danny Trevathan placed on IR. And then as far as game status with the Ravens, so Khalil will be going on IR and be out for the rest of the season. He will have surgery next week. So, I appreciate, I know with him, it's been, the last several weeks just trying to get right. And this is, I think we did everything as far as trying to attack it the right way with him. And I know he's put a lot of time and energy in trying to get back and see where things are at. But, this is where we're at. And so that'll be that with Khalil. Akeem Hicks will be out. Allen Robinson will be doubtful. Elijah Wilkinson will be questionable. Eddie Jackson questionable, and Damian Williams questionable. So that's that with the injury report. And then Dion Bush, I'd say there's a strong possibility that we'll be bringing him up and activating him off of the IR with Dion. So there's a little bit of the injury report for you. Other than that, like I said, we just got in from red zone, and now we prepare for this game. I thought we had a good practice today. We've really had 3 good practices all week long. So I'll go ahead and open it to questions you may have.
A loaded injury report there for you on a lot of levels. With Khalil specifically, what's wrong with the foot? What are they going to repair?
Well, his is getting into his toe. So it's part of the foot, and it's stuff that he's been again dealing with, and we've been for weeks. He's trying to get through it, and this is through him and our doctors and everybody else. This is a part of the game, and you try to handle things the right way. And I know he's frustrated because he's such a competitor, but this is the best thing for him and the best situation to be able to help him out and get it fixed. Again, I'm not. That's for the doctors and all of them. That's not for me. I just know that this is the decision that we've made, and he's a big part of us, and that's not my profession.
When he hurt the foot, we remember watching him on the sidelines in Cleveland, kind of testing it, pacing around it, and really wanting to go back.
Yeah.
What changed in the month afterward where it became not a good idea to keep running him out?
No, it's not that. It's in sports in general, and in this contact sport like this, you're going to get injuries, and so every person's a little bit different. And again, the details that he has with our trainers and doctors and what he's been through day to day is on them and where it's been to. I just know that the big picture for him and for us is that he fought like hell to try to get through that pain, that you have, and then there's the medical side of it. There's one thing to play through pain. There's another thing to make it worse.
That's why I was going to ask: did the pain get too much, or was there fear that it would get worse if he kept playing?
I don't. Probably a little bit of both.
And in retrospect, do you wish he would not have played through it?
No, that's not. No, for him and for us and everything we've done. He's again for all of us. You just get to a point where you're trying to play and make the right decision each week for him, strictly for him, and whatever he's able to do for himself will help us if he can play. But then there comes the physical part of it, the anatomy part of it, and I think that's where we're at.
Is it fair to suggest or think that playing through it while valiant did not help?
I don't think so. I don't know that exact answer. You'd probably have to ask the doctors and Khalil, but I appreciate him. We all, all these guys right now at this point in time are playing through injuries. Some are more significant than others, so you'd have to ask them.
Matt, with Allen doubtful, it leaves you short at wide receiver too. Are there other roster moves or things you're considering between?
We're going to work through that right now with where we're at with the guys we have. And again, I think the biggest thing for all of us to understand is, with Khalil going through what he's been through the last several weeks of trying to get through this and trying to figure out what's best. We've had several weeks of other guys at that position. Now, again, whatever position it is, I think it's very important for all of us to understand our players and coaches is that, knowing where guys have been at. There's been a lot of guys that are different guys that are stepping up at different positions. that are getting opportunities. And so at the wide receiver position, we're working through a couple ideas and thoughts there. But the other guys that have been playing just have to play a little bit more. And then we got to make sure that depending on the scenario with whoever it is, that we have backup plans for all of those. So
What went into the decision to put Danny on IR?
again, it's always us discussing where he's at, where we're at, and it was something that we felt was best, for all parties.
Was there a particular incident that made the knee worse, or was it just?
No.
Did you face the same thing that cost him?
Yeah,
kind of in front of
I think so, yeah.
Matt, who qualifies as potential options in-house at wide receiver to potentially get a look on game?
Yeah, you could look at guys like Rodney Adams, Isaiah Coulter, and there's a couple others as well. I mean, that's the one thing that I really feel like heading into this year, and it's a good thing because of some of the injuries we've had. I feel like Ryan and the personnel side has done a great job with creating depth for us. And that is one position at wide receiver that if we run into something where we need some depth, we got it. And we'll see.
And as this season ensues, you get 8 more games and a 17th game this year. Do you think you might be more careful about situations where guys are kind of banged up, as far as more careful about that, and maybe erring on the side of caution, especially after the Mack situation?
No, I think we're really every week we're doing whatever we can with the guys that are able to go and give us what they can do without, injuring themselves more or can't go, or somebody that tries to play through injury that's 50% versus somebody that's 100%. Like, we have to balance all that out. So, no, I think that we're, again, we got guys on this team that know that when they get an opportunity, it's their time to go out there and do that, and so injuries are part of this game.
You guys were able to play Marsh after he got here, 4 or 5 days in advance. But Bruce Irvin gets here today. Is he a potential 53-man or game day roster guy on Sunday? And if so, how do you get him caught up?
Well, that's probably the biggest thing that Sean and those guys got to work out is where is he at, not just mentally understanding our defense, but also physically. He's been out for a little while, so as any of these guys, the mental and physical side are a little bit different per guy, and to each their own.
Not trying to overcome this kind of injury adversary? It's a lot of bad injury news in one day.
Well, I think for us is we understand where we're at. We have a mentality heading into the week, regardless of where we're at with our players and everything, of knowing that we're going to do this thing together, and there's no excuses. I think that's what you feel in our building, in our locker room, is just that. I mean, our guys are flying around. They're making plays. They're practicing hard. They understand. We're when you have a significant player like Khalil, the impact hits you harder, right? That's where you're probably saying with that. But for the most part, we have a group of guys that are fighters that battle, and you felt that all week long.
Matt, with Irvin, collectively, how do you approach, I guess, the next couple of weeks, just trying to figure out, he hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah.
With a lot of stuff since he played a long time ago, how do you gauge where he's at physically?
In practice, physically in practice, it's the only place we can do it. He's going to have to let us know how he feels. I thought he did. I thought he looked good yesterday. In his workout and stuff. And so that part you see. But also, coming off an injury, that sort of thing, you want to monitor that. But we'll get a good gauge on that and see where Sean's at and Coach Shuey with the mental side of it. But the good thing is this is a guy that's got some, he's been playing in this league for a while, and I can remember the day he got drafted to where he's at and what he's done in this league, and so he's a competitor too. The short time that I got to know him a little bit here, I like his energy and I like his mentality.
But next week is not ideal for practices.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Is there anything you can do with him on the side?
Yeah, they'll be mentally working with him. Physically, he'll be doing some things on his own. With where he's at, and then we'll just have to see. Is he ready to go? For that game, and just get a feel for that. But you're right, it is. I mean, everything is super condensed.
And Hicks, Goldman, and Mack will have ended up playing just one game pretty much together. I know you say injuries are part of the game, but is that kind of pushing the limits of your acceptance of that kind of NFL reality? That's
No, because I just don't think that the mentality of who we are as coaches, that you kind of go into every game and understanding that Would you love to have all those guys up for every game? Absolutely. I don't know, doing a study on teams throughout the league, how many teams do truly have certain players at certain positions like you're talking about. Maybe there's more than others depending on the year, but it just so happens to be that for us right now. And again, the thing that I can focus on as a head coach is the guys that are able to play and are here, and that's what I appreciate the most is those guys that are getting opportunities to be out there every day are fighting tough. You know, they're fighting their butts off to get out there and play, and I that's all you can ask for.
No disrespect to the guy stepping up.
Yeah.
But Akeem's another guy who's been playing hurt, trying to fight through it, missing games. Is there a concern he may have to be shut down too?
No, I don't think so at all. I think he is battling hard, you know, and again, when these guys have an injury where it forces them to either miss practice or miss a game, they're more frustrated than anybody. And it's a part of life. It's a part of the NFL. It's a part of sports in general. And so I think for them, it's just making sure that they do everything they can to get right. Certainly, everybody that can't play is frustrated because they want to play, but never once do you ever. I mean, these guys are tough. They're really tough, and these guys. There's a lot of guys out there now that they're not as significant, but they're playing through some bumps and bruises, and that's what we internally really appreciate.
Jairo Santos has an elbow injury. How does the kicker get an elbow injury?
Yeah, that's you have to ask him. You have to ask him.
Didn't have it in football, or
Again, you'll have to ask him. You have to ask Cairo. Good?